Hi, my name's Kate Hartley, and if you've only recently come across me, I specialise in anxiety and menopause and online health and fitness. Just as a quickie, if you go to my Instagram profile and have a look at my highlights, there's a Menopause Mondays one there. It's kind of become a menopause any day right now, but there's loads of topics there that I go into in much more detail around menopause and how to do it naturally and how to survive the menopause. Menopause warrior here. Whoop, whoop. So I am today going to chat a little bit about menopause stress, cufuddledness, how to help reduce that stress that you feel. I remember when I was going through the menopause, I'm postmenopausal now. I went through it quite early, so around 48. I'm now 50. In fact, no, I started even earlier than that, but I'm now 50 and it's all gone. But I'm still having hot flashes, still a little bit of brain fog, still interrupted sleep, still a bit of joint pain, etc., etc. I can't tell you about too much other stuff because I'm single, so I don't know if the other stuff works still. I'm not entirely sure. Grace is one of the biggest ones. I think we have to understand and appreciate that this is a period, excuse the pun, of our lives that will pass. It does pass. And while it's pretty crappy while it's going on, and while you may not even be recognised to be in the menopause or perimenopause by your GP, I think, listen to your body, because you are in it and you know what is normal for you. Normal for us is subjective. So what's normal for me is different to what's normal for you. So I think have courage, have confidence in what your body's telling you specifically. If you're getting a lot of night sweats at night, that's how mine started. I would literally drench the bed at night time. Lucky again that I was single, because I'd sleep on one side of the bed, get really hot and sweaty, and then just strip off and go on to the next side of the bed. So in the morning I could strip everything off. It'd be nice and clean for the following night. My washing machine was on overdrive in those days. But give yourself grace. This is a period that is passing, and there are certain things that you can do to help alleviate that sort of cufuddledness that comes with menopause. So first and foremost, I would suggest you get really organised. I had to really rely on a diary and notes. I had endless to-do lists. Try and keep one to-do list, whether you use it digitally or whether you use it in a diary or you've got a running list that you use. And what really worked for me was to brain dump at night time what I wanted to achieve the next day, because then it sort of got it out of my head and it meant I slept better. And in the morning I then did a review of what I'd brain dumped from the night before, and then I prioritized it. And I didn't need to have the most important things at the top, because that kind of defeats the objective of a brain dump. But what I did do was go through my list and then think, what has to be done upon pain of death today? That would get an A1. The other things, what is really important to be done today but isn't as crucial as those A1 things, they get an A2. And there might be several A1s, there might be several A2s. And then beyond that, you can either call it A3 or B1s. B1s tended to be my more creative stuff, so they're things that I wanted to do, particularly with my online business. They were ideas that I had for team training and tutorials I wanted to share. So those would become like a B1, because they weren't upon pain of death of having done, but they were things that I wanted to do at some point. A3s, again, it's like, it doesn't necessarily have to happen today, but it would be great if it did happen. And the A3s are quite, it doesn't really matter if they get shoved onto tomorrow's to-do list. So that really helped me strategize what I really needed to do. It made me see what the most important activities were. I got them done. And then, especially once I got through those A1s, it was just like, yeah, brilliant, bring it on. I sort of got into a productive flow. I felt really good about myself. And it took away some of that energy. When you've got something lurking in the background that you've got to get done, but you just keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, it drains energy because you're still thinking about it. It's just like, I've had this box sat in the side of my room, which is like 3 things in it. It's been there for about 3 months. I moved it yesterday. It took me all of about 20 seconds. Just like, why didn't I do it 3 months ago? I have no idea. We do these things, but once you've got rid of them, that energy that you're using, looking at it and thinking, has gone. And that, we all have finite amounts of energy. So it's about being as productive and efficient as we can be, so that we, save energy for the things that really do matter. That brings me on to food. Now, again, with energy, if you're fueling your body with food that serves your body, nutritional food, you're going to have more energy, you'll sleep better, your hormones are going to be better balanced out, and you're just going to feel healthier in general. So things like that, you want to be in eating more cruciferous vegetables, legumes, things like lentils, chickpeas, that sort of stuff. See what works for you. They give me terrible wind, but you know, I think probably if I ate them more regularly, I've heard that you don't get quite so gassy. Again, it's very well, it's just as well I'm single. But lots of green vegetables, really, and try, in fact, eat the colour of the rainbow. Most of us eat too much pasta, we eat too many potatoes, we eat too much processed food, we eat too much sugar. Raw sugar is better than those fake alternatives, artificial sugars. There's a lot of negative studies going on around artificial sweeteners. So if you've got to have sugar, have a healthy sugar, maple syrup, raw honey, raw sugar, and something unrefined, but keep it to a minimum. Cinnamon is a great blood sugar regulator. So if you're, you know, you've got to you feel like you want something sweet, have a coffee and stick some cinnamon powder in it, or make a smoothie and stick some cinnamon powder in it. It works really well. Beetroot powder does the same. If you like beetroot, you like that earthy flavour, you like the bright red purpley colour, beetroot powder does a similar sort of thing. It's really good for our blood sugars and also our blood flow within the body. Next is movement. As humans, we all need to move. If you follow me, you know I do short workouts every single day, or most days. The current plan I'm following is 5 days a week, have 2 rest days. That not only gives you feel-good endorphins, it helps to also gobble up stress hormones. Stress hormones are highly related or linked to how we experience our symptoms of menopause, because the adrenal glands back up the job of the ovaries. So when our ovaries are not producing as much estrogen, our adrenal glands help to do that. They help to produce a little bit of estrogen. If your adrenal glands are under constant stress, so you've got elevated cortisol levels because of chronic stress, your adrenal glands are not going to be as effective, which is when you're going to have more severe symptoms. So look after your stress, look after your adrenal health. That involves obviously movement, good food, prioritizing sleep. Now, sleep is also obviously crucial for our entire body, our body's sort of healing systems, our immune system, your mental health. So if you're struggling with sleep, and I still don't sleep brilliantly, but it's a lot better than it used to be. I've just recently, the last week, I don't know what made me do it, I started this affirmation that when I wake up in the early hours, I tell myself, or if I can't go to sleep at night, I tell myself, it's really easy to fall asleep. Or if I wake up in the early hours, I say, it's really easy to fall back asleep. It's really easy to fall back asleep. It's really easy to fall back asleep. It works. I have no idea why. I think it's because it focuses my brain on just that affirmation rather than all the things I normally think about. And even my mum uses it, and my mum sleeps badly, and it works for her. So give it a try. It's really easy to fall asleep. It's so simple. There's nothing fancy about it, but it does work. So please, 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 if you struggle with sleep, give that a go. Also avoid things like caffeine and eating too late and too much alcohol before you go to bed, because of course that makes a difference. Make sure you are ideally getting out to nature regularly. Ultraviolet's really important for us. Most of us living in the northern hemisphere, during the winter months, we have a deficiency of vitamin D. Vitamin D is naturally produced, or we produce vitamin D as a result of having exposure to the ultraviolet light. Try and get out, it's sort of midday-ish, because that's when you're likely to get the most amount of ultraviolet light. If you really struggle, you might want to get a SAD lamp. You can buy them online, a seasonal affective disorder lamp. And I think you sort of sit in front of it for 20-30 minutes a day, and it's supposed to help boost your vitamin D levels. But vitamin D it's like the precursor for good health. If you're low in vitamin D, it affects your mental health, it affects your cardio health, it affects your skin, the muscle repair, everything. Vitamin D is absolutely crucial. And then water is also really, really important. If you're having a lot of hot flashes, you probably need to drink more water. I know that if I'm thirsty, the first thing that happens to me is I start feeling crabby. So if you're trying to reduce your stress and reduce that cufuddledness that comes with menopause, drinking water is going to help you. Now, to work out a minimum amount that you should be drinking, You want to take your weight in pounds, divide that by 2, and that's the amount of fluid ounces of water you should drink. So for instance, if you weigh 140 pounds, you want to be drinking a minimum of 70 fluid ounces of water a day. If you're having a lot of hot flashes, if you do workouts, if you have a strenuous job, if you live in a very hot climate or a very cold climate, you need to up that amount. It's absolutely crucial to drink a lot of water. Every day I start my day off with a pint of warm water with either a teaspoon or a quick slug of apple cider vinegar, raw apple cider vinegar, or the juice of half a lemon. Warm water is better for your body. It helps stimulate your digestive system, helps get your metabolism started, and it's just really nice in the morning. So that's what I always do first thing. I get up and I have my pint of water, warm water. And meditation, excuse me, I'm getting hot, having a hot flash. Meditation is, I am not the best one to talk about meditating because my brain is a bit like a rabbit's. It's all over the shop. I'm very busy. I sort of run at a fairly high level. Not run. I'm useless at running, but my pace is quite quick. When I do it, I love it. I do. I really, really enjoy it. I just do 10-minute meditations and it does help. I think if I were to do more meditation more regularly, it would benefit me even more. It's something I'm working on. I'm a work in progress, but I do know from other people that I've worked with and talking to meditation coaches and this guy who treats veterans who've got PTSD, he treats them with meditation and yoga, and regardless of the drugs, they get better because of meditation, because of becoming more present. And you know, I think meditation in and of itself, listening to a guided meditation or chanting something in your head, is incredibly beneficial. But there are times when you're out and about and you can allow that to be your clear space in your head. You know, if you're driving, rather than thinking, oh, I've got to get there quick, or I'm late, or oh, damn, I forgot to pick that up, or what am I going to do when I get there? Just be aware of the present moment and embrace the fact that you're in a car and you're driving, or you may be stuck in a traffic jam. And rather than thinking negatively about it, which is wasting energy, think of something positive about it, or grateful. The fact that we have cars nowadays. You know, in the olden days, you'd have either been walking or you'd have been horse and cart, or you may not, it might have been so far you would never have even be able to contemplate that journey. You know, so it's about becoming more present in the moment. And I think all those things combined, if you can employ them, I would, if you're at the beginning of like a sort of a healthier way of living and you sort of hit menopause and you think, oh jeepers, I've really got to make some changes, start with one thing and then get good at that and then incorporate another behaviour. I think if you try and do it all together at one fell swoop, it becomes too much, and that will then make you feel more overwhelmed and more confused, and it raises your cortisol levels and you feel more antsy and stressy, which then affects your digestive system. Just quickly on digestion, gut health is incredibly important. I really want you to understand the importance of fueling your body for nutrition and not as emotional blanket. So gut health, 90% of our serotonin, which is one of our feel-good hormones, gets created in the gut. 50% of our dopamine, our reward hormone, gets created in the gut. There are a lot of links between healthy gut bacteria and our mental health. So the healthier your gut biome, the better your mental capacity to deal with things. So if you are really struggling with your mental health, I would focus on your gut health first and foremost and see where that takes you. Gut health is cutting out processed foods, eating a healthy probiotic that survives the trip through the gastric tract. Some of them don't. Make sure that the one I take it daily is Bacillus coagulans or Bacillus coagulans. That does survive to get to the bowel, which is where the healthy bacteria thrive and do their good stuff. But our gut biome is an incredibly important piece of the jigsaw puzzle. So you may have sort of listened to the bit about food and think, oh, that'll be the last thing that I incorporate. I suggest you start with your nutrition. It'll make a massive difference to your energy levels. It'll make a massive difference to your immune function. It'll make a massive difference to how well you sleep. And it tends to have a knock-on effect. Also your adrenals, because if you're in nutritional stress, meaning you're not eating the stuff that supports good health, that stress also triggers cortisol. And cortisol makes the insulin, our fat storing hormone, spike. So when you're under prolonged stress, your insulin levels go up, which means you hang on to belly fat, or you create belly fat. So if if you're a slender person but you can't get rid of your belly, that's likely to be related to stress on a general level. So I hope that helps. If you've got anybody, who might benefit from this, please share this with them. If you've got any comments or messages, if you're looking for help yourself, please get in touch. I have all sorts of resources. I'm starting a free group soon, which is going to be focusing on all the sort of pillars of health. I'm just getting ready to open enrollment into my latest boot camp, my online fit club, where you get access to all the workouts. We also spend a lot of time looking at healthy nutrition, so you'll get all sorts of much more in-depth tips and tricks that way. But, just focus on one thing. I do suggest you start with food and then incorporate the other aspects into that. So it's food, it's movement, it's giving yourself grace, it's getting organised, drinking plenty of water, getting out into nature, and making sure your sleep is good quality sleep. So hope that helps. Catch you soon.